Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is an episode 97. In today's episode, we are going to dive into healing. Why and how, and is there even a point of healing while we are on a spiritual awakening or twin flame journey? Why everybody is talking about that you need to heal, that there is a frequency, that there is a vibration. Why is that necessary? If you have been missing my episodes, then make sure you're going to hit the like button right now or leave a comment right now. I know there has been a little break in between, and even though I really wanted to share so many stories with you and episodes with you, life happened in between, and as you can tell from my voice a little bit, it's a little different than normally. So now all of these that has been recorded along the way, I will publish them as well. I take a little moment in between. But today's episode is about 7 steps of healing while on the twin flame journey or in the spiritual awakening journey. Why do I talk about these two things, that twin flame journey and spiritual awakening journey? Even though your twin flame is the most profound love you have ever felt in your life while you met your twin flame, they will trigger your spiritual awakening. And that's the point one, where actually why we need to go to the healing. Now we can say, no, I don't need to heal myself. My twin flame will return. Divine timing. If it's meant to be, it will happen. I don't need to do any of this. I agree. You don't have to. But today I will post here 2 of these messages from the group sessions that we do. And I just want to give you their perspective. Why the healing? Why the transformation? Why going inside matters. I know when we first arrive to this journey, we want to know everything about our twin flame. Is my twin flame feeling the way I feel? Are they going through a spiritual awakening? What is happening to them? So our focus is a lot out there and it's not inside. And that's very normal. I'm not here to say that you're doing something wrong. This journey is going to break you apart. It's going to trigger a spiritual awakening. And it's a journey that we cannot solve from the mind. We cannot do the mind games here. What we have to do is to start switching our energy and our frequency. And now this also brings me to the fact that many of you can think of it like, well, I met this person, had a very intense connection. I believe it's a twin flame journey. I feel this, I see this, I have numbers, I have this. And time goes by and you kind of figure, oh, maybe it wasn't a twin flame journey. Maybe it was nothing like that. And maybe I made all of this up. Me, I can say, if you dive into the healing, whether it's a twin flame journey or not, and that's why I have said it from my previous episodes, do not start your healing, do not start your journey from the place of, I will do this and then my twin flame will return. This is the number one thing where you're trying to control with the mind and you don't let it happen and you don't surrender. If you do healing because you are thinking everything what I'm going to do will bring my twin back, it's where you're trying to control. You're trying to control that my actions will bring my twin back. But you don't let the energy to happen. So which means I will talk about this also in the future of divine timing, allowing it to happen and taking action. All of these 3 things are very important, and we often talk about divine timing and letting it to happen, but we don't talk about it when you need to take an action. And while we'll talk about this in the future episodes, which I will highly recommend that if you would like to have the future episodes, then make sure to like and subscribe and stay around here. One of the most common questions I often get asked on all of the social platforms and while we are on this journey, how to surrender and how to let go. How to let go of the outcome. How to surrender that it is what it is. If your twin loves you or doesn't love you or doesn't feel the connection or feels the connection, and there are other things, how to surrender into that. Now here's the thing, that we cannot solve this from the mind. You can read books about surrendering. You can listen to me about surrendering. I can tell you what happens when you surrender. But until you haven't felt it, it's very difficult to understand when and how surrendering happens. And that's one of the reasons why when we had a first Twin Flame retreat, I realized we can talk, we can read, and you can listen to me hours and hours and hours. But when we don't start practicing, we'll not understand, because it has to happen internally. Surrendering has to happen internally. And again, I want to repeat the same thing that I said before. If you are starting your healing journey with the mindset, it brings my twin back, it brings my twin back if I will start the healing. The healing has to come because you are feeling that it's time to transform, that it's time to become your higher self. I'm going to tell you that your twin will never appear in your life in this physical world if it's not your time to transform. And I know that many of us have the romantic idea of it. And I'm not saying that you cannot have it. I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong here. What I'm saying is, if you are only living your life based on what they do, how they reacted on you or your life or the things you did, you've given your power to another ego. You're not living your life from your authentic self. If you are constantly worried, if my twin will like this, if my twin will do this, if I do this, if I do that, is it right, is it wrong? You allow something else to control you. But your twin appears to your life to show you that something is there wrong. You need to shift and change that frequency. And you need to become your higher self. I know I have spoken a lot about it, becoming a higher self. And sometimes it can feel like, what is this twin flame thing? It's like a unreal thing. You want to be in a relationship with a person you dearly love, but this person might not love you back at this moment, might not have the same feelings, might not be in the same place, but you are feeling all of this. And at the same time, you hear from everywhere about twin flames, how you need to surrender, how you need to let go, how you need to do the healing. And yet, at the same time, all you want is the relationship. All you want to have that physical moment of being together and creating memories. But twin flames are not a regular relationship, and don't treat them as one. Don't treat them as one. If you are looking for a regular relationship, manifest your soulmate. Your twin flame is your mirror, who's going to activate you, who's going to take you to the next level of the world. Will your twin flame disappear from your life? No, they will always stay around, here and there. You can be in a relationship, I'm not saying it, but don't treat it as a regular relationship. This is just something I always try to softly and safely say so. But if I look at more and more and more into what happened when you first met your twin flame, it just doesn't look like anything like a normal, regular relationship. I've met my soulmate. I've met people around. Never something so profound has happened. And what it did to me energetically. So whether you are a twin flame in a connection or triggered by another person or an event, healing is going to be the core of this journey, whether you like it or not, whether you believe in it or not. Right before we're going to go into all of these 7 steps, what I'm talking about, the healing and how to start the healing process, I'd like you to put here a story from our previous workshops when we did the inner dance. I've always said that the inner dance is the most intense activation we can do at this moment. And so I would never recommend this to do as a first session. But if you have done 5-6 Kundalini activations here and there, Reiki and deeper meditations, then it's good to dive into the inner dance. As a first session, I do not recommend because it's going to really shake you up. You might have heavy headaches, you might feel sick, you might feel very disturbed, you might feel a lot of things because it's a very profound exercise or energy. But those of you who have done quite a lot of work already, such as, let's say, ayahuasca, you have been doing the energy activations with me or with somebody else, it doesn't really matter, then inner dance is a very great way to take it to the next level. And here I'm going to put in such a profound words from one of our beautiful souls who's been with us quite a year already. And I am so thankful that I'm going to say one of the things is the retreats are coming up and all of these things. And I often go and lie down and I think about it. One day I'm going to have that much money that I'm going to fly all of you in, all of you who have been attending the workshops and all of you who have the good relationship, all of you who have liked, all of you who have commented. And we do the magical healing session. And it's all on me. Because why? Because once we get a taste of what it means to go within, to connect. I love when people are coming today in energy activations, the Kundalini activation sessions. They come, they're stressed, they're overwhelmed, so much is happening. And just within an hour, their face changes, their feelings changes, everything changes. And I know that within myself, because I do that quite regularly. And it's all about the frequency. It has nothing to do with what happens in a life. It's what is inside of you. And we need to connect what is inside of you. What is this reflecting from there? And that's why I just love it so much, because it really makes a difference. And so yeah, I'm going to put this over here. You can listen to it. And I find it extremely inspirational. And I want to say about it that, you know, all of the healing work you're going to do, and that's what you're going to hear at the end of the podcast. All of the healing work you're going to do is going to change your life. It's going to profoundly change your life. But if you do the healing only on the perspective, I will get my twin flame back to my life. I make my twin flame to love me like this. I will be. No, you are going from, in a sense of, I'm going to shift myself to be somebody else, something else that you want me. But what your twin flame wants is your authentic self of you. So healing, transforming, all of these things that you're going to do, you don't do from the place of, I will get my twin back. You do that from the place of, I will become my higher self, my authentic self. I will speak my truth. I will be me. And when you are you, because remember, there is only one version of you. Only one version of you. There isn't anybody else. And then you are going to be this one. You're going to attract everything. And that's what you're going to hear at the end of the podcast from another beautiful soul that has been with us quite some time.
First of all, I'm so glad I didn't miss this. This is the best thing you have done by far, 100%. I didn't really know what to expect, but I'm glad that I sat up, because what happened is the energy just kind of took me. First of all, you can't think of anything, you can't resist anything. You have to totally let go of everything and just go with it. And the energy just took me, and it had me doing some, I was just, it was to the point where if I tried to stop going with the energy, that it would be more uncomfortable. It just, it's more comfortable to go with it. This whole experience uh, brought me to the understanding of the meaning, a deeper understanding of the meaning, go with the flow. Okay. We have to just let life happen, because all the noise and stuff, it was there for a purpose. We experience death and then we're everything. But through that noise, there's still that inner silence. There's that silence that you go to, and that is where everything happens. That's where all the magic happens. That silence will never leave you. No matter with all the noise, that's where we need to go. And it just brought me to a it's almost like the energy was like taking me and saying, through this experience, it's okay, I I've got you. But in order to get that, we have to heal ourselves. We have to let go of all the bullshit, and then we can get there. And this just brought me to. I'm so glad I didn't miss this. And it's just kind of like, it's like when you say, when you have this inner, it's like voice just telling you to do something. Don't think and just do it. It just goes along with that, because a lot of that stuff has been happening with me lately, and it's amazing. It's just totally amazing. This is the best thing you've done, 100% by far, and thank you. That's it. I mean, I could go on forever, but this was a great experience. Thank you.
So this was just a feedback and a story, and I think our dear soul should come and have a podcast with me or by himself. I found it so inspirational. It's one of the things that I hopefully can share on the social medias as well, despite the fact that my Instagram is currently disabled. If any of you have wondered where did I disappear from the Instagram, they disabled it. And I might do a temporary one if I don't get this back. You will find more information on Patreon, those of you who are on Patreon. But let's go back to the healing and letting go. And there's another thing about surrendering and letting go. Like our mind tries to figure out what happens to us when we die. There are so many researchers, there are so many things that we're trying to figure it out. What happens to us? Where do we go? Are we really going to die? What's going to happen to us when we die? Are we going to be resistant towards it? Are we going to go with the flow that, yeah, it's okay. It's okay to leave that body. And until today, the humanity doesn't know what happens to us when we die. Only those know who died. And it's the same with twin flame journey or spiritual awakening. I always say that it doesn't matter of the labels. It doesn't matter if it's a twin flame or it's something else. It doesn't matter. Because only you experienced something so profound. Only you had that experience. When people ask me, can I stop loving my twin? Can I get off from it? Can it be over? And I say, yes, you can stop this in a certain ways with your mind, but healing is essential. Healing is very essential on this journey. And then it comes back to the same principle that you cannot control that from the mind. You have to go dig in and you have to surrender into, but you need to know what surrendering is. Surrendering is not from the mind. It's not from the mind. As much as we want this from the mind. And surrendering does not mean, I don't love my twin anymore. I don't want to be with my twin. I don't care what they do. I'm cutting off. It doesn't happen. Surrendering means you let the life happen and you feel how the life is happening through you. The sadness, the pain, the happiness, the love, the everything. The first inner dance session we did was very intense, and maybe because we do 2 different ones. And for the second session, I chose harder one. As I looked it up, the people who are joining, and I was like, okay, you have done it. Some of you hadn't, and they had quite a, I would say, shocking maybe experience. And it is a shocking. I had my same when it was done to me. It was a bit shocking. But at the same time, it felt so good. It felt so good. So healing is part of the process. Whether if somebody says, no, you don't have to heal. It's not a healing. You just need to stop focusing on your twin. You don't need to do anything else. Just stop it over here. I agree with that to a certain extent as well. But when we try to solve something with a mind without changing our frequency and our energy, it will come back. So it's like, let's say, like a diet. You for a while, you don't eat sugar. You love candies. You love to eat them. But for a while, you're like, I'm on diet. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be very strong in it. And for a while, you can do it until you break apart. And then there you are, feeling it all again. You don't solve it from the mind. And that's why I've always said, the moment you arrive to this spiritual awakening, the first thing is you know that your life will never be the same. The version of you that was on that milli moment will no longer be there anymore. And it's heartbreaking. And so the first step I would really say is to start feeling it. Start feeling the pain. Start feeling the confusion. Start feeling everything you're going to feel. Feel the love, feel the emotions, feel everything. And when we try to run away from feeling it, we stop the process in the sense of, let's say the same thing. I feel sad today. But I don't want to feel sad today because other people might be around you, or you feel them, you see them, you are, let's say you're a mother, you have children around you, or your colleagues, or your work, and you don't want to show it to them that you are sad. And you start finding a coping mechanism, such as working harder, starting to watch certain things that will take your mind away from feeling it, or working out, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but sometimes when we do things over, which means when we start doing it more than we're supposed to because we are coping, we don't want to feel it. Then we are having a problem. Because when we don't allow ourselves to feel, it will stay in our body. It doesn't go away. And then there is a one moment where you just blast and you feel everything and you know everything and you feel like, I cannot. We often call that as a burnout. But a burnout, I agree it's a burnout, but it's a burnout because we don't listen. We are too afraid to feel it deeply. Again, I'm not here to blame you. I'm not here to say that you need to feel everything so deeply right now, right here, and go as deep as you can and just completely destroy yourself. Because healing is somehow going to destroy yourself. Like Joe Dispenza has said, in order to become love, a parts of us that are not love must die. And that's what the healing is start to do. But the first step is to feel it fully. So you will feel a love, and when you met your twin flame, so profound that it's going to shift your perception of the world. And that's why I say you're never going to be the same person again. I know that we are trying to go back to who we were before, and we are trying to make sense of it, who we were before. But simply it doesn't make sense. I've heard that from so many times, and you can of course leave a comment as well from your own experience, where people say, all of a sudden, nothing mattered anymore. None of the material status, none of the ego status, nothing mattered no longer. It was like all of a sudden, everything around me was pointless. And all I wanted and all I felt on this moment was to be with this person. I could have lived under the bridge. I could have done anything. Because none of that is a 3D materialistic world matter to me anymore. It was just simply not there. If you felt that, you can obviously leave a comment. And so the first part is that you're going to feel everything. The fear, confusion, the joy. But the healing can only start when we start feeling it fully. Because it's the same thing. Let's say you have your wire is broken from somewhere. And you're trying to fix your wire from the beginning. But actually the problem is in the socket. And you don't go all the way to the socket to fix that. So you can for a while fix it from the beginning somehow, the wire. But eventually it shuts down. Because there is a problem that is deeper in there. So you start feeling it fully. That's why I say when you come to the calls with me, or you have somebody else, or a therapist, or whoever, and you cry, or you feel emotional, and you feel weak, or you feel anger, or you feel disappointment, or you feel whatever you're going to feel, I want you to feel that. Because once you're feeling it, the answers will come from there. That's why I'm not against any of the methods such as tarot or all of these things. I'm not against them. Don't get me wrong. But that's an outside of you. That's not inside of you. And I can tell you, looking at you today and say, you have that potential to become this. But inside of you, you have enormous insecurity. It will not happen. Whether we like it or not, it's your energy. And now here's another thing when the healing will start to happen. This is something very difficult. We feel disassociated from the world. So which means our partners or our friends or our colleagues, we just feel like we don't want to be around them. We want to be somewhere else and we want to do something else and none of this makes sense. And so it's a bit of a sad start or sad journey when you are on it. But as the time goes on, you will start noticing that you are shifting. And there is going to be a period of time where you feel lonely. I wish I could tell you that you're not going to be lonely on this journey. But there's going to be a time where you feel very lonely. Because the old self of you is gone. And the new self of yours hasn't arisen yet. And so you are in between. You are in between this gray area where you don't know if you like pink color or you like blue color, where you don't know what music you like, where you don't know who you are. And sometimes you even have a problem with your own name because you just don't know who you are. So the second part of the healing, what you should start is starting to express and share. So one of the things is you start feeling it. But then now what to do with that when you're feeling it? You can of course have your therapist. I mean, I have set up the calls. Everybody who is listening, you can always book a call with me. For that reason, when I was going through a very, very hard time, all I wanted was to talk to someone who will not judge me, who will not sell me any course, or who will not tell me who I am and what I have to be. I just wanted to share. I just wanted to get off of my shoulders. But the fear I had it inside of me was everybody's trying to sell me something. And I don't want to buy anything. Not at this moment. At this moment, I just want to share. And maybe once I have gone through the sharing, I have more clarity what I want to do next. And I'm not saying I'm the only one. I believe there are beautiful souls out there. I really do believe who can help you and they come along for you. But the reason I set it up for the Twin Flame Awakening journey to have a call with me, that you can get to breathe. I find there is enormous power when we share and we say it out things. But the other part, of course, is to write things down. Write things down on your journal. And I know often I repeat the same things, but repetition is the key of everything. And so just to make sure that if you haven't started yet, Try to start it now. It will help you to accumulate your thoughts, and as the time goes on, you'll be able to reflect back and see what worked and what didn't work. When we express, we free the energy that has been inside of us. And again, it allows the deeper healing. And also it gives you a clarity. So think about it right now of your body like a bottle that has filled up with everything. Let's say the insecurities from the childhood, some insecurities from now, abandonment, overabundance as well maybe. Maybe you have been very abundant in your life and you feel guilty for that. So many of the things that all are bottled up inside of you, lack of love, don't know if you deserve love, are you worthy of it? And so when you don't share it out of you, it's like a machine that is constantly jumping here and there, says you this, says you that, this and that. And so there is no order. Same wire example, I can bring it in again. If your wire is messed up, it's so difficult to see where the problem is. Where do I have to go? But then when you take time to start talking of the one thing, and of course the first thing that when we have it on twin flame journey, what happens is that we're questioning, does my twin flame really love me as much as I love my twin flame? Does he or she feel the same way? Why did they run away if they feel the same way? And I, again, as the time has gone on, I've got so much data and so much understanding that they would feel if they are ready to feel it. I'm just going to say that. Your twin flame feels the same thing if they are ready to feel it. So it comes back to the healing again. If you are not ready to feel something wonderful, something so profound, I do believe that they feel that first connection for sure. Something happened to them, and that can now turn into a different phases, that whether they get very scared of it and feel like, oh my God, I can't breathe next to that person. I'm so anxious. I don't know what is happening to me. Or they feel the same way, enormous amount of love that they cannot control themselves. And that scares them too, despite all the other things that you have in between of each other. So the third part of this healing process now would come to the acceptance. Acceptance that your life has changed from now on. And you are no longer the same person. Don't try to fit in where you tried to be before. You're no longer there. You are a completely different person now. You have the completely different energy, because after feeling all of it, and now that actually brings me back to the first point. When we start feeling it, all of it, it doesn't happen overnight. When you cry one time, you feel, oh, I feel so good, it's done. If there is more, it will come step by step. Sometimes the healing process can take a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10 years. Now again, you can say, I have nothing to heal. And they don't come back. I have nothing to heal. But then I want to say that then you must live already the life of your dreams. If you have nothing to heal, you have no fears. You are living your authentic self, and it's very unlikely that you are suffering. So when we start accepting, and not accepting the same way, accepting the twin flame connection, whether it's a scam or not a scam, whether it's a truth or not a truth, you need to accept that something happened with you. And you know what? I know that it's a very hard journey, because you're going to feel rejection on this journey. You're going to feel that somebody abandoned you. You're going to feel all of that. And that's something we don't want to feel. We don't want to feel rejected. It's a very, really nasty place to be in when someone rejects you. When someone doesn't want, let's say, as even as a child, you would go back to the moment where you were not invited, for example, the others to play with. And you were standing there and thinking, what's wrong with me? Why I cannot play? Why I cannot be? Why I cannot be? And that's another nice feeling. Or when someone doesn't invite you somewhere and you think, why me? why I'm not invited. But I will tell you, the moment you start healing and becoming who you are, you start attracting the people you deserve to be around with. You don't need to fit in somewhere where you're not supposed to fit in. And often twin flames are very different. I'm not saying that it doesn't mean that you cannot be popular or you cannot be attraction already before and all of that. I'm not saying this. But what I'm saying is when you start the healing and letting go of it, you will start attracting your tribe and your people, and you will never feel rejection or you will never feel left out. And if somebody treats you like that, then you just walk away from it. And this is what I'm going to talk about. We're going to have in a workshop also about healthy anger and boundaries on Twin Flame Journey. As it's not about it that you're going to let everything to happen to you when another person wants to hurt you. If somebody on this earth wants to hurt another person, they are hurting inside. Something inside of them is hurting and they want to make you to feel that pain. And I always say, walk away. Just walk away. Do not give any energy back. Do not do anything. Let them hurt. Because a person who is balanced, happy, and connected will not hurt it. So now we're going to come to the step 4, where we need to start taking an action. Okay. So we came from the feeling it, because I would say that sometimes starting everything, all the actions, might, I'm not saying to harm the process, but might make it more overwhelming. Because now when we start a breath work, holotherapy breath work, or we start hypnosis, meditation, sound healing, kundalini activation, inner dance like we did, all of these things, when you start doing them, they're going to trigger more and more and more and more. Because the first is like, I would say, it's like a volcano. It burst out. It was there. And now we need to start going deeper and shifting the frequency. And the way we can shift the frequency is through vibration, through sound, through energy. That's the way we can shift the frequency. You cannot shift the frequency with a mind of thinking, oh, I am so happy today. I am absolutely the best of the best. Everything is good. Yeah, positive talk helps because it has positive vibrational words. But you do not shift with that. What you do is inside. And if you need to, like, I know people are going to ayahuasca and all of that, they vomit there like crazy. Why do you vomit? Because you need to release all of this inside from you. So if you have a lot to vomit, if you have a lot to cry, if you have a lot to scream, if you have a lot to feel, even the sexual energy, then you have to feel that. So healing is the session part of it, whether we like it or not. And I know you can tell me, I don't need to heal. I'm absolutely perfect. And I'm fine if you're absolutely perfect. But if you're not, take this today with you. That everything that you're feeling is all right. You feel the love, you feel the rejection at the same time. You feel sadness and you feel loneliness at the same time. So you can feel everything. So the step 5 of the healing is to make it as a habit. And that's what I see very often. People will think of, I did one session of this and look, nothing happened. Or I did 10 sessions and look, nothing happened, which is very unlikely. When you have done it already 10 times, things start to happen and change. But then I would always look it back and question, okay, you're doing all of these things. Why is it not happening? Where is the blockage? We need to go deeper. And now the healing and the transformation and the connection part of it is to understand that it's an ongoing process. It's not something that happens one time. It's an ongoing process. So, for example, you need to maintain your frequency. So that's another thing, to have it as a habit. Again, why I do twice a month sessions. And I'm not saying you have to come to my sessions. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I mean is you can choose whoever. Go to the breathwork, holotropic breathworks twice a month, meditation 15 minutes a day. But it's becoming a part of you because you're maintaining like this the frequency. Even if you look at all of the successful people or spiritual people, what are their schedules? What do they do? Where do they focus the most? And where do you get that answer? They focus on themselves and the rest comes to them. And then you take an action, of course, as well. So this is something I want to say that, and sometimes the healing can take years. This is another answer we don't want to hear. And how come something can take years? But sometimes it takes. So there is no rush on that process. It's every little shift and change is going to shift you. But if, like, it has to be your habit. Even if you come in a union with your twin flame today, it has to continue from there. Because you have a frequency. As a twin flame, you've been gifted a frequency that is very, very beautiful. And you can do so much in this world. Believe me, you can do so much in this world. No matter what is your job, no matter what is, you're going to shift and change the world. So from there on, the number 60 is embracing your authenticity. As you heal, during the time when you heal, you'll find that your frequencies start to shift. You no longer resonate with own patterns, people, let's say environment that just simply doesn't serve you anymore. Let's just say that you no longer, like I had it, I no longer drink alcohol. I don't drink coffee. I eat very little meat. I embrace my sleep a lot. I have other, how do I say, ways of connecting. I have other things that I prioritize more than I prioritized before. Especially I prioritize myself a lot more than I did before. And I see that where my intention should go. And so like this, I'm able. And even if people, let's say, don't like me, I always say that I'm not here for a popularity contest. I'm not here at all for popularity contest. I'm here just to share my voice of hoping that maybe you who is listening will start step by step changing and shifting. And your frequency through me, what I have given, will change and the magic will start to happen in your life. I know it can sound absolutely ridiculous, but for me, as seeing it, when I see how much people are lacking out of love, how much pain we have, how lonely we feel, and how we are afraid to be ourselves, I close my eyes and every time I wish that you would live your life in your full potential. And it sounds crazy. And in order for you to live in the full potential, I need to push you a little bit. I need to push you like your twin flame does. Pushes you a little bit, a little bit, and a little bit. But again, I want to say it's not me in the sense of like you don't have to follow my guidance and you don't have to follow my meditations and you don't have to follow my workshops. Not at all. It's not the point of this podcast at all. It's just I'm talking from my perspective right now. But anything that resonates with you and can help you, take an action today and change and shift your life. And why I talk about it? Because I did all of that. And now it's my daily schedule. I see the results from it. And when you're healing and you are becoming authentic, who you really are, with your truth, with your knowing, it's your highest frequency. The more authentic you are with your soul's path. Authenticity means living as your true self, without masks, without being anybody else. It's you. That's why I say when you start doing the healing, in order to hope that your twin will return on this healing session, you're already healing, like you're giving the energy to them, not to yourself. And I know, again, it's information we don't want to hear and we don't want to resonate and we don't want to connect with. But your twin wants you to be the higher version of you, like you want. When you embrace your authenticity, you begin attracting everything, experiences, people, opportunities that meet and match with your true vibration, true one who you really are. And now you are a magnet. Now you are a magnet who is attracting. And I'm gonna put it here, our beautiful souls feedback from the last inner dance session. On Patreon, I'm trying to put out all of the recent workshops we have done in order for you to join and do them as well. I just say about the Kundalini activation and inner dance activations, when these are done live, they are pretty much live sessions because I'm the one who generating the energy at this time. I facilitate the energy, and so it's a live session. I don't believe it works really well afterwards. I'm not saying it cannot, but it's better to always join. The next one is 29th of September, which is the next Sunday, 2 sessions. You'll find the information on Patreon and on the website. You can purchase a ticket. So I will put our beautiful souls story. There is a little bit audio defense in between, but on YouTube, as you can see, there will be subtitles and yeah. And so the last one is the surrender, which we are trying to get into. So now you can see there were about 6 steps before we are arriving to the surrender state. So surrendering doesn't happen from the mind. Surrendering happens when you're ready for it. It's like death, pretty much. Or the way you met your twin flame. You were ready for it. You were on that time, that place, that frequency. So surrendering does not happen from the mind. I hope that helps tremendously. And so now the next thing is to let go of the surrendering process. Let go of the need to control of the outcome of the journey. And surrendering is not about giving up, but the releasing attachment to how things should be. And I want it, and I need it. And if it's the opposite, it's not the truth, it's not the real. And when you are surrendering, you're allowing the universe to guide you. You're allowing the universe to make you the divine timing. And you're going to be in a state of flow, where your frequency is in tune with a higher vibration of love, peace, and purpose. And at this stage, the healing becomes less of an effort and more about alignment with the universe flow, because you can feel what makes you feel good and what doesn't make you feel good, what kind of food makes you feel good, what kind of information you're consuming makes you feel good, all of this. So I will talk about the frequency. I will talk about the studies of the frequencies, how they change and shift. Because I know that one of the things is when we are on this journey, we want to know everything. We want to know, how is that? How is this? Is it real? Is it not? How is it this? But I would say once you surrender, it's not about anymore about this. It's about allowing. Whether it's real or not, who knows? But you're going to experience and allowing it to happen. So I will put here the story, and then we're going to have the end talk about it.
Art. I am just so grateful for you putting the time in to do these.
So yeah, no coming back to this.
This was there's no I'm at a huge loss for words just because of how powerful and how incredible and how magical that was. And I was just having like these jolts of energy just come through me. And then after I don't know how long, I was in this space where I was just in so much peace and I felt pressure on my body. And at the same time, I felt like I was floating. And I felt like this blissful happiness, joy, exuberance, like all in one with that sense of peace that was kind of grounding me down. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's exactly what I felt like. And I just, at one point, I wasn't even moving. I was just enjoying being in that space. And it felt like 5 minutes, but I know it was much longer than that. But it felt like time went by so quickly and I just wanted to stay there. It was, I've never felt anything like that. I mean, I've come close, but not that sustained. That was sustained right there. That was on a whole nother level. That was crazy. And I did draw something that I want to share. But before I continue, I just want to share a little bit about what's going on for me. And I'm just so grateful for this experience and to have you. Um, yeah, something happened after the Lionsgate activations that just really put me on a whole nother trajectory or level and all the symptoms, like as far as the not sleeping, the being super thirsty, the being dizzy, the kind of feeling like things are surreal or not really there, and I'm kind of floating. That's all going on. And I am just so immensely happy. Like, and for everyone on this journey, you have been blessed. You have been given like the most amazing gift ever. And and take advantage of it. This is like the Holy Grail. You know, when you hear about the Holy Grail and the Fountain of Youth, this is it, man. This is it. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Give yourself time. Do what you need to do. I'm not ashamed that I spent a year watching YouTube, um, what are those tarot readings on tap? Like that kept me going. I couldn't do anything but like do what I had to do in my day-to-day life and have the comfort of watching those. And Bridget, I remember you telling me like if you need it, just do it. If you need that, do it. That's okay. But believe me, you're gonna cross that path and you're not gonna need it anymore. And you're gonna be able to like invest your energy in things that are gonna bring you joy, and then you're gonna like live the life that you want to create the life that you want. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I need to share that for other people early on in the journey. I don't know where this is going. And today I had such a huge revelation. I was lying there and I said, I need to book a time with Bridget so I could talk to her about what comes next because this is like so crazy. Like I can't even imagine any more than this. And because it's already been so magical. But that was like a change, right? It's not about him, it's about me. And I felt it, like it clicked. It was like, and it's been clicking on me, but that was like a big moment. Like it was just like, whoa, whoa. And then I got this image, the image. And then when I was drawing, I didn't think I was gonna draw, but then something called me to draw, and I did it. And you said, and that's what brought like the knot in my throat when you said that it'll come true or that it's gonna come to to fruition or something. And then that's really what got me because never did I imagine that this would be me. And I have to show you guys, and then I'll share a little bit more because I'm so I hope you guys could see it. She's kind of floating, and she has like all this light coming in her and coming out, and like all this love, and like all this joy, and all this peace, and all this everything. And like she touches so many people every day, and just brings light to them, and healing, and love, and peace, and happiness. And I've been so high, and I can't drink. I mean, high on whatever's going on inside of me. I can't even drink coffee anymore. Like no caffeine because I can't sleep if I do. Like I'm operating like on a good day 4 to 5 hours, and I can't sleep any more than that. And I'm just like so energetic and just ready to do everything. I'm just like I feel like I'm like hyperactive. And believe me, before all of this happened to me, I struggled with depression most of my life and suicidal depression at that. There was moments where I just couldn't even do anything. Like I just felt like going to the kitchen, getting up from my bed and going to the kitchen was such a ordeal. Like it would take forever to get there. And my son was little and I had to push myself to do what I had to do. And it was always a struggle and everything was always so hard. And so many times, like, I didn't think I could continue doing this. And when I met my twin flame, like, that was so confusing and like, I thought I was making things up. I didn't know what was going on. And I slowly learned to trust, to love myself, to value myself, to put myself first, to prioritize myself, to do the things that I loved, to reach out to people that I resonated with, that were just guiding me, and everything's falling into place. And I feel like a completely different person. Like people see me and they don't recognize me. I don't recognize myself. Like my energy is just like so different. And you know what they say about how when you're in this energy, you like magnetize and things come to you. That is so true. Believe me, like believe me, that is so true. Like all of these incredible things are happening for me. And I had to talk to him for a couple, it's been more than a year. And recently, like right after the Lionsgate and all that stuff, like he came around me. Yeah, and like and it's like nothing ever happened. Like we just left off like a day, and that incredible, beautiful energy came back. And not that we're talking, but it's he's back, you know? He's back in the 3D. Um and I don't need him. I don't need him. I have everything that I need. And another thing that I always tell myself is focus on you. You know, that's like my mantra in my head. Focus on you. Focus on you. Compete with yourself. Do things for yourself. Do things that bring you joy, that you love, that inspire you, and then that just like radiates out. It truly, truly does. And then things come to you. It's just, I'll just leave it with, believe me that if you're going through a hard time, there was times where I thought I couldn't handle this. Like it felt like my heart was being ripped out of my chest, and I couldn't do I couldn't live one more day, and I just couldn't lose him. I just couldn't lose him and lose what we had. And and if I could look and if I could just tell you that it's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like if you think if you think what you had, or like the honeymoon or whatever initial phase, if you think that's all there was, that's like that's like the Milky Way compared to like the universe, which is nothing, right? Just wait, just wait. Just have faith, believe you're on this journey. It's you have no idea what's coming. You have no, and I know I'm like I likely don't have an idea of what's coming. That's why I want to like connect with Bridget. And thank you so much for doing this. And I am so grateful. And this experience was on a whole nother level. And previously, like when he tries to block me even on the 5D, you're no match. He's no match for you. He caves in and he comes full force in 5D when I do your meditations, which is amazing. Yeah. And another thing I'll say is that the sexual energy, I used to be such a prude, and now I like fully embrace it, and it's so healing and it's so divine, and it's such a gift. And sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm being so greedy because I get it all the time. But you know what? I learned to accept and love it, and just yes,
Oh,
yes.
I love this. I love this. And you look so fantastic. So fantastic. You look, I would say, like I don't like to put. So, the reason I shared today this story from our beautiful soul was because of giving you all understanding that it will take time. And everything that you're doing at this very moment is okay. Everything that you're going through is okay. And sometimes it feels like I cannot no longer. Then I would just tell you, think of yourself that you're climbing a mountain. And it feels like you're almost there, but the end is the hardest. Take a moment, pause, reflect, and you will recover and you'll go on from there on. So another thing is, I will end this today podcast in this way, because I believe there was hopefully some hope for you. And maybe you were missing me as well. I promise I will now edit all of the other ones and put them out as soon as possible. Few things just to reflect on. Our Cyprus retreat is sold out, but we do have places for Costa Rica. And the early bird price is available only until the end of September. So please sign up for it right now if you would like to have a discounted version of it. From the 1st of October, it will be with the full price, with the normal price. So if you can, sign up for it today. I'll see you in Costa Rica. And you will see some of the pictures and things on Patreon. And also other workshops will be there as soon as it will upload a little faster. Because Patreon problem is sometimes when there are bigger files, it takes quite some time, regardless of that. Those of you who would like to book the session with me, feel free to do so, twinflameawakeningjourney.com. And I know my Instagram is disabled. I'm going to make right now a new Instagram account, which is a temporary, hopefully, but we can connect through that. And I will put it on the link description here and in the comment as well as a pinned comment over here, that you could connect. I don't know why the disabled, which is you could of course report on Instagram on your story or somewhere and say, hey, it was an original account, all is good. It might have happened because I traveled and I was in a different IP addresses and so on and so on. But it's quite annoying because I miss you and I miss connecting with you, and now starting all over again. Well, sometimes we have to start all over. And yeah, so those of you who would like to, twinflameawakeningjourney.com, Patreon on 29th of September on Sunday. We'll have 2 other sessions. Again, it will be out the information there. We'll do Kundalini activation with a special twist a little bit. We'll do a little differently than we have done it normally, but again, I would highly recommend you to join it in a live session, not recording. If you cannot, come to the next one. We'll have every other week. That's the beauty of being on Patreon. You can join the workshops. And if you are not on a Patreon, you can purchase a ticket on website. I will put it up there this week. So yeah, that's for it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And you can share your healing journey. You can share what's happening with you at this moment. The full moon with the eclipse was very releasing and very painful somehow. So yeah, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it, and lots of love and light.
Celebrate each other, stand united as one. We lift our hands up and pray, lay all our love before Him with all of our faith. He is the change within us, there is a light. Let Him lead the way, lift our hands up and pray today. Oh, pray. Everyone needs somebody to lean on. Everyone needs someone who cares. If we come together as one, help each other get stronger, we are bound in the name of the Lord. So let's come together, celebrate each other, stand united as one. We lift our hands up and pray, lay all our love before Him with all of our faith. He is the change within us, there is a light. Let Him lead the way, lift our hands up and pray today. Oh, pray. Oh, pray. Oh, pray. Oh, pray. So let's come together. Yeah, let's come together.